Big O Show. This is the 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 Big O Show.
There's just one place where you can drive the new 2025 Acura Integra for only $289 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield Home Security System guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
There's just one place where you can drive the new 2025 Acura RDX for only $399 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
We're celebrating a new year with new savings at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume Toyota dealer. Save big on a 24 Corolla, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. We're bringing you deals that strike fast and hard at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help. After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Canes memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
There's just one place where you can take $10,000 off the 2025 Acura MDX. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
Welcome to CanesWare. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CanesWare has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at CanesWare.com. CanesWare, the spot Miami fans shop.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649 or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place where you can drive a new Acura ZDX for only $239 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning. It is Friday, baby. February 28th. Yes, sir. And we are coming to you live from Acura of Pembroke Pines, home of the great Larry Schlossberg, who's back there behind me jamming as the number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States, and the sun is shining. So we're going to need some shades. All right. So come on by 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. We'll be out here for a couple of hours. We got a couple of guests today, too. David Furones will join us from the Combine. He'll join us at 10:30. We will talk to Manny Navarro at 11. We'll get our CanesWare Miami Hurricanes report and our BigCheeseMiami.com NIL and recruiting report. So all of that going on. So we'll get that going and have some fun. By the way, there is some news coming out of the Combine I just saw this morning. Cam Ward will not throw at the Combine. And you know what I say to that? I say, good for you, young man, because that's all bull crap. You know, when you're the top players, there's no reason for you to go throw at the Combine, run the gauntlet, go lift, go do any of that stupid shit. You don't need to do any of that. When you're a top player, look, if you're a third and a seventh round pick, you kind of need all these moments to impress and better your game. But if you're a top pick, you're one of the top wide receivers, you're the top pass rusher, you're the top tackle, you're the top quarterbacks. That's just silliness. You don't need to do any of that. It's not going to, in fact, it's not going to do anything. It's not even going to help you. Just throw at your pro day with the guys that you're used to. So that way, since it's a staged event, well, might as well stage it to your benefit, not to theirs or to nobody else's. So go, and there's no reason for you to go do something that you're opening yourself up to another injury. Yeah. Smart, dude. The Combine is for two things: the interviews and the medicals. They got your tape, dude. They know exactly the throws you can make. They know what kind of linebacker you are. They know if you play hurt. They know if you play tough. They know whatever it is. They already have watched it on tape over and over and over again. They know who you are. What you do on that stupid rug means nothing whatsoever. And more players that are at the top are realizing this, and their agents are doing the proper thing. And it's like, bro, you don't need this. I tell the Charles Woodson story every year. Every year I tell it because it's the best story of them all. He's doing the interviews, right? And the Giants have their own Wonderlic that they give anybody that they're talking to, that they're going to do an interview with, they give them their own Wonderlic. It's like 500 questions. It's got a shitload. It's like a book, and you go answer it, and the Giants want to know more. I'm not sure if to this day they're still doing it. I think they probably still are. If not, maybe they just recently stopped. So Charles Woodson goes in for an interview, and the Giants are like in the middle of the round or late in the round in the first round, and they hand him the book to do the test. And he goes, yeah, no, I'm not doing this. And they go, why? And he goes, you guys have no shot at drafting me anyway. Why am I going to waste my time doing that? He's right. Woodson was going to be a top 5 pick, and that's exactly what he was. And the Giants had no shot at him whatsoever. So why am I going to waste my time answering your stupid Wonderlic, your own personal Wonderlic test that you come up with? So it's sometimes it's a good thing for some of these players to not have to go through all the stupid, dog and pony show that's out there. And the Combine is useless. The Combine is there for free agency, for the tampering, for the interviews and the medicals. The 40 times and all that other crap, that's for TV. That's for fluff. That's for fans. That's what that silliness is there for. But real NFL people, they don't give a shit about that. They just don't. They just don't. And the smart agents and players, the ones that are up there in the draft, not the guys more in the middle and the bottom, those you should do everything that you can possibly do to better your status. But those top players like Cam, I'm happy for him that he's not going through the dog and pony show. That's no need for him to go through that. Set it up here in Miami with your guys. And by the way, some of your guys that are catching balls for you, they may not be at the combine. They may not get the same kind of exposure, but everybody's going to be at your pro day. You're also doing a favor to your teammates. Something that a lot of people don't mention, okay, because it becomes a little bit of a showcase for the receivers too that day and the tight end that is used. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little something to that too, that you're also helping them out maybe for that draft or for a future draft or something that a scout ends up seeing somebody running routes for Cam and they like the way the guy runs his routes or he catches the football or whatever it is. Whatever they're into. Sometimes you're there for one thing and you go and see something else and you're like, whoa, what is this? You know, that kind of stuff. And that happens a lot of times. So you're also doing that. Anyway, what else do we have going on? The great Sean Stanley, of course, driving this program and mastering the platform. I see NorCal is awaken and a bacon. You got Cast Dip. Nice job by you. Jeff in Long Island is having his drug of choice, which is coffee and a bagel in New York. Cosa Nostra, One-Eyed Jack, keep stacking the last 2 days about Bitcoin. Solana, Caspa, great opportunity for DCA. I would like more ETH at this price, but unfortunately I can't buy all at once. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I would like to buy a little more here and a little more there, and I just don't have the money, so I'm with you. I know how that feels. It's like a frustrating thing. It's like I tell a buddy of mine that if I had real money, I could make some real money. You know, it's crazy, man. Anyway, Jay Gelfin is in the house. And he reminds everybody, let's go. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe bell. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. I just heard Sarah Seaver, the daughter of Tom Seaver, passed away from cancer. Did not know about that. Wow. Stinking cancer, bro. It gets all of us, dude. Ty in the Bronx is in. Aquavision. Bitcoin is getting pounded. Well, Bitcoin is becoming a great opportunity for a lot of people, and especially for since dummy newbies are selling, because that's what's going on. I think there's some whale games too, because the ETFs have been dumping too. So some of those people haven't been holding long either. You know what I'm saying? So that it goes both ways. But yes. And it's a great opportunity. Awesome opportunity. Alexis Palenzuela, Stephen Harris. He's smashing the like button. Mark Smith. Been missing lately, but it's a good thing I can actually sort of work out now. Spine surgery in July. Wow. And work outside, but another big O. Neanderthal in the house. We love you, Mark Smith. Thank you, sir. Slow and steady wins the race. NorCal is right. Our Carrillo, our Ray Sosa, feeling good, man. Just trying to get this, the cold, the phlegm, and then get the throat back to where I can, do my show normally. And yesterday I was able to do the 2 hours, so that was pretty good. Let's see. Skylar Tipton, Horn Dog. Walter Olivares, Lenny Pena. We're 10 days away from free agency. Yes, sir. Juan Mendoza, I see so many people freaking out over the dips. Can't wait for my paycheck next week to invest again. You are correct, sir. You know, we had the Trump pump. Now we have the Trump dump. Goes both ways. So all the tariffs have scared the shit out of people. And that's why you've seen all this dumping. Because a lot of people are expecting this to be very inflationary. And I would agree with them on that. So we'll see. We'll see if this whole crazy plan, we're going to find out if it all works. Do I think it is? No, I don't. But whatever. It is what it is, and we'll find out. But yeah, all that stuff, he scared the crap out of the market now into it, and he opened the door for a lot of rich people to scoop up more Bitcoin, and that's exactly what's going to happen, and they're going to get it at cheaper prices. So it's all good. Frankie Fresco is back. He says, I'm feeling way better. RIP my dog, Rocco. Wow, I did not know about that. I'm sorry to hear about that, Frankie. That's brutal, dude. Brutal. Losing a dog is like losing a family member, and I know how that feels because I love my 4 dogs, man. And I play with them every day, hug them, love them, give them kisses every day and hugs. They're always hanging out with me when I'm home. I love my freaking dogs like crazy. So I know when we lose a dog, it is devastation in our house when we lose a dog. So I feel for you, my brother. Sorry about that. Roderick Freeman. There are 3 things for sure: life, death, and taxes, and the Panthers beating the Oilers. You know it, baby. Brian Landis. Rifleman. Plan would be better slowly put in place these tariffs after me 2018. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of things I would do different. I don't mind blowing up all these organizations like they're doing. But you know how I would do it? Okay, how does this organization run things? All right, let me bring in an expert. Let me get the best employee. Let me go study what they're doing for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, see what they're doing, get the best employee I have there, get an expert, put them together. Hey, I need you guys to devise a plan to bring this thing down. And we want to streamline it. Okay, we're going to figure it out a couple weeks later, whatever. You figure it out, and then you start to, taper down whatever it is by letting go. But this whole thing, man, you have blown up organizations and
don't just throw a grenade in there and walk away.
Walk away and then say, "Oh, oops, wait a minute, we made a mistake. We need to rehire these people." And it's like it's so unorganized. So I'm great with downsizing it.
Yes,
but downsize it with organization and structure and all that, not just because you're a billionaire, you don't care and you just cut away all the jobs. And so, whatever, bro. Listen, man, I don't care about Dems and I don't care about Republicans, and I say it all the time. So it doesn't matter to me. Do I think they're going to get it right? No, I don't. They never get it right. Neither side ever gets it right. So whatever, man. It is what it is. And now this whole tariffs thing is going to scare the crap out of people because it's going to raise prices on everything. So this is what you have, and that's why you have the sell-off, and that's why you had the dump in the stock market, and that's why you had the dump in the crypto market, and people panic, and they want to have cash in hand, which the cash is what's going to die. That's the funny part. Your NVIDIA stock will continue to grow. Bitcoin will continue to grow, but your cash is not going to grow. But whatever. So I get it. We'll find out, man. Hopefully it works. I haven't seen one guy that knows how to fix it, or a woman. We haven't put a woman in office yet, but we haven't seen one guy that really knows how to make it work anyway. So I don't expect this one to work either. Whatever. It is what it is. All I can tell you is this is what will protect you from Democrats and Republicans. No matter who you put in office, this is the one that's going to outlast them all. And the last 16 years proves it. So, that's all I got to say. Skylar says, the Rio think that they need to cut back on is all these private military contacts with the DOD. We spend way too much on our military, but the douche brothers are too busy going after other programs. Yeah, but the problem is that everybody else wants to spend on military, China and Russia. And so you got to stay on top of it, bro. You know what I'm saying? But they do overspend all over our government. I'm all with what they want to do in downsizing the government. Oh, man, I'm with that. But the way you're going about it is a complete disaster. You gotta be a little bit more deliberate about it. You have to, take a little bit. You've already been screwing up for decades. It's not like this is new, So take a little time to understand each department, how it works, what you really need, what you really don't need, and then you start to downsize. You just don't whack it all like that and take it all out of, In fact, they just had a whole bunch of people from the Doge step down because it was too chaotic. They didn't want to be a part of like that. And that's the problem with all of it. I'm all for downs. I'm for that. But there has to be a more methodical approach to it, a more intelligent approach to it, not just as somebody just used the word, a Neanderthal approach to it, which is what you're doing. You're taking a Neanderthal approach to it all. And that's where, so what are you going to do? Anyway, let's see. Big O, real dumb question. How does one buy Bitcoin? Really simple, my friend. That's not a dumb question. Dude, crypto is very intimidating for everybody at first. Justin, I was just like you, dude. I was a denier, a disbeliever. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't educate myself like the typical American. And so I took the time to educate myself, to learn about the dollar, to learn about what's really going on, and then to learn about Bitcoin. And that's where you get enlightened. So, but if you want it nice and easy, my brother, Cash App. Nice and easy. Cash App, and then go to tangem.com, TANGEM.com. Buy the 3-card one. That's your cold storage wallet. And then in Cash App, you can send it for free to your Tangem wallet. Okay? And it's super easy. It takes you 5 minutes to open up a Cash App account. Order your Tangem wallet. It'll probably take you a week or two to get it. Collect your Bitcoin on your Cash App account. Once you get your Tangem wallet, you set it up, and then you start transferring over for free. There's 3 options when you transfer on Cash App. The third one, the one that says it takes 0 to 24 hours, that's the one you choose. Sometimes it'll come in 5-10 minutes. Sometimes it'll come in 5 hours or 15 hours, but it doesn't matter. It transfers. All depends on how much traffic there is on the blockchain. That's all you're waiting for. Okay, so not a big deal. Do it. It's the easiest way, the most harmless way to do it, my friend, is on Cash App. That's how I would do it. Okay? So, and you can also on Cash App, I'm sorry, Venmo would be the other one. You can also get Ethereum on Venmo too. But on Venmo, the transfer, they do charge you to your wallet. Small fee, but they do charge you. On Cash App, the third option is free, which is really, really cool. Okay, so that's what I would tell you, my friend. For any beginner, Cash App and a Tangem wallet, because you do not keep your Bitcoin long-term on Cash App, on no exchange. You move it to your cold storage wallet. And Tangem is super cheap. It's like $70 for the 3-card one. And you get the 3 cards because the 2 other cards are your backups. Okay? So nice and easy for you. All right, Justin, good luck to you, my brother. Do your homework. and enjoy the ride. Jake from Palatown. I've been feasting on the dips, bro. Feasting. Caspa, Bitcoin, what's it called? Alethea. Yeah, I've been feasting, dude. Feasting. So yes, I have, Jake. Skylar says this is what happens when you put businessmen in charge of cutting back on government. When they try to make cuts like they would a corporation, government is not like a company. Yeah, exactly. You can't, because you're overturning lives, dude. You know, you have to be a little bit more, intelligent in the way you do it. I'm all for downsizing the hell out of this government. It's one of the things that pisses me off why I don't like Dems spending. Their governments are always too big. I don't like either party, but specifically for Dems, one of the things that bothers me about them is they like their governments way too big, bro. Way too big. And it's a problem. I'm all for downsizing it, but downsize it the right way and treat human beings like human beings. These are civil servants. These are people that are they're doing work for the government, for the people. They're not there to screw around. And if they're not, cutting their weight or whatever, okay, then fine. But you know how all these people are getting fired, for bad work, and some of these people have never even had a write-up, never had anything. They've been impeccable employees. You just can't do that to human beings, dude. It's just not right. So yeah, I agree, Skylar, to a certain extent. That's what you do when a businessman gets in there and just cleans house. It's not right. You got to take your time and understand each. You're going to have to keep some people, but do it the right way. That's all. Mark Smith says, I buy Bitcoin from this dude off the interstate ramp. He always has a bunch of them in his pocket. Justin, never too late for Bitcoin or Caspa. I agree with that. Got some Ollie at the 0074 mark this morning. How about you? You're getting into Ollie and everything. Wow. Damn. A lot of people didn't take the Ollie route with me the last time when we went from 88,000th of a penny to 9 cents. Only a few people. I got like maybe 2 or 3 on Twitter. They told me, hey, dude, thank you and all that. But I get it because it's kind of crazy, because it's out there. It's not like a lot of people are talking about it or anything. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Yahoo Sports is saying the Dolphins need a CB, safety, and a tight end. What order do you feel is a priority? No mention on O-line or D-line. Well, think about that. They're right. You do need a corner. You do need a safety. You don't really need a tight end. You can get a tight end to have a second one as a luxury, and it's a higher percentage pass. It makes the offense better for Tua. So I like the idea of a second tight end, but you just answered your own question. No mention of O-line or D-line. Who gives a shit who's the safety or the cornerback if you can't get to the passer? So, D-line's going to be important. That's a bad article if they're not mentioning O-line or D-line, Frankie. That's the problem I have with that article right there. I want to talk D-line and O-line way before I talk about any of the other ones. So that's kind of where I'm at. And here's the thing. I also want to get to free agency first before I even look at the draft. Because I say it every year, it's just a waste of time to talk about the draft right now until your team handles free agency. Then once they handle free agency, you're going to have a better feel for what direction they need to go in the draft. So let me first work on free agency, And free agency or the draft, I'm starting on the lines. Frankie, I need guards. I need defensive tackles. I need to see you go after these positions. Guards and defensive tackles. I want to hear a lot about that. I want to see a lot of people talk about that. And I want to see the Miami Dolphins very active when it comes to those positions. That's the priority for me more than anything else. If you do not win at the line of scrimmage, you won't go nowhere. And that's what's been going on for 40 years. Oop, the glare has picked up. Damn, the glare is strong. Let's see what else. Big O, is Tangem wallet the same as a cold storage wallet? Yes, it's a storage wallet. It's not online unless you have the card. So it's not you can check your phone, but you can't sell or move anything unless you have the card. So it's cold storage. Yes. Exodus is like warm, because you can make some moves without the 12 words, but if you want to open up the wallet somewhere else, you're going to need the 12 words. You're going to need to sign in. But on Exodus, you can stake and unstake and move and buy without having to put any passwords. So it's kind of warm because it's still movable while it's on your mobile app. So that one's warm. Let's see what else. But Tangem is basically a cold wallet. Oh, do you think this proposal that eliminates property taxes will pass? I have no idea, bro. I know it would be awesome. It would be awesome, and I know they're talking about it. But we'll see. We'll see. I have no idea, bro. And do any of us really know when any of this stuff is really going to work or not? No. Do I think all this tariff stuff that Trump is doing is going to work? No, not at all. I think it's going to create all kinds of inflation for all of us. We're going to be paying more. I think it's going to be a disaster, but who knows? You know what I mean? He goes back to, when we were charging tariffs back in 18-something and 1930, we were the richest country in the world. Bro, this ain't 1920, bro. We're not a manufacturing giant anymore. Like, that's why we import so much, because we don't create a lot. It's different, man. So we'll see. What do I know? All I know is I've seen the last 4 presidents print $30 trillion of our $37 trillion deficit. That's all I know. That's the simple math. 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, 30 trillion. That's all I know. So I go with simple math. None of them know what the hell they're doing. Do you think we can afford Aaron Banks from the Niners? What else do we have? The Libertarian Party is what most people agree with, but it's a 2-party race. Yeah, well, we have no chance for a third party for a long time. It's going to take a whole generation to develop a third party. So we're stuck to this terrible 2-party system. How do you think Bitcoin will go down before it starts to trend up again? Frankie, it hit 70,000 by the way, which I told you it wouldn't. Hit 79 last night. I don't know. I always tell you this, right? Nobody can time the bottom. Nobody can time the top. Nobody knew how the tariffs would, affect. And clearly, the markets have completely gone the other way against the tariffs. So this is stuff that technical analysis can't predict or anything like that. I think we're right around the bottom. Okay? we never really did a lot of consolidating in the 80s. So this kind of makes a lot of sense. We did a lot of consolidating in the 70s. So I think all the money's already there. I think what we got is a lot of the newbies and a lot of the corporate stuff, like the ETFs. Some of the people that are newbies in the ETFs and don't know anything about Bitcoin, they probably panicked and dumped too, and that's why we have this major dump. But as I showed you in the graph yesterday, you probably didn't look at it, and it's on my Twitter page. All the people under a year are the people that are selling Bitcoin. Everybody over a year is holding. Everybody. So it shows you that it's newbies. So I think we're in the bottom now. Since the 80s, we skipped the 80s. We consolidated in the 70s, and we went up to the hundreds and 90s, and then we consolidated in the 90s, and now we've dipped into the 80s. So I would say this is our bottom. Now, am I a financial advisor? Hells to the no. But because we didn't have any consolidation period in the 80s, I'm going to say this is our bottom. Okay, but to me, it doesn't matter. If you buy it at 70 or 80 or 90 or 100, keep buying. Doesn't matter. It's gonna blow past all of this. And I just think it's going to become even more vicious, the rips up now. So it's going to freak people out. Let's see what else. Oh, Furones is ready. All right, let's go. Let's talk a little Dolphins football straight from the combine. David Furones and our Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report.
All rise, football fans, as the Welt and Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins Insider David Furones.
All right. There he is. Locked and loaded. How has Indy treated you? Did you hit St. Elmo's?
Yes, absolutely. St. Elmo's was the Wednesday night reservation we had. All the days start mixing together pretty soon. But, yeah, of course, had the famous shrimp cocktail, the whole nine.
And any rookies? Did you guys sucker anybody?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we were hanging out with Antoine Staley, who used to be on the Dolphins.
Yeah, Antoine's awesome.
Yeah. Not saying he's a rookie. Someone that he knows from
poor
the
guy.
Jets beat.
Poor Antoine. He's on the Jets beat, like you on the Dolphins beat.
Right.
Yeah,
So
like, really, like it's like it's torturous to be on the Dolphins and a Jets beat. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, he ends up with anyway. So he was hanging out with another guy on the Jets beat. It's first year at the combine, and he invited him when he heard we had a seat at the table, and we got him to do the shrimp cocktail. So
watery
he
eyes.
took it like a champ, though. He took it like a champ.
Watery eyes.
A little bit, yeah. But I mean, that happens to me, and I still go at it, and I know what I'm.
Oh
doing.
no, definitely.
Yeah.
I still go at it too, and I get the
I
watery
support it.
eyes. But like like they suckered me. Jason Cole and company got me that first year,
time.
like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, my eyes got all like they.
Oh no, yeah. Not only that, Isaiah Smalls from the Miami Herald is out here. So first year on the Dolphins beat. So we got. So he also had the shrimp cocktail at Prime the night before, which doesn't have as much of an effect as far as just to the sinuses, to the nasal, all that, the whole experience, which is something else. So once you have it.
Yeah. By the way, they tell me that they have these ladies that they splice the. You remember the explanation? No, the whole thing on the shrimp cocktail. Do you remember that explanation? Right. They. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
They have. employees that are in their that's their
Specifically.
job to
Right.
cut it down to a specific size, and then like I want to say
That's how you
rake it,
get
but
that. Because I told them, does it have any qualities like wasabi? Are you a sushi person?
But the first time I had, not too much, but the first time I had wasabi, I was stunned. I didn't know that happened. So it did catch me by surprise. But yeah, it's the same sensation.
It's the same. So he told me that the same qualities of the whatever the what is it, the fruit or whatever that thing is that they use to that whatever, it's the same family of wasabi.
same consistency of wasabi.
Yeah. So that stuff that they're shaving is the same consistency of wasabi. It's kind of in the same family. The whatever the fruit is or vegetable or whatever the hell that thing is that they're because I asked the waiter, because I last year when we went, I had to ask him about that, because it was like, okay, we got to, I got to get down to the story about this, because I've always wondered, because it the same reaction as wasabi, same freaking thing. When you have that shrimp cocktail, it tastes great, but it has a wasabi quality to it that it opens up your sinuses.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
Right. Yeah. Different kind of spice where, it's not really spicy in the traditional sense, but
no.
Right. So, the effect it has on the sinuses, which it's an experience. It like for a few seconds there, I almost relate it to like you are high off of it for a couple of seconds. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like
it
I
is
stop
a
talking,
high.
I take it in,
Yes, it is a high. There is no doubt about that. I'm with you there. It definitely is. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just laughing.
Okay. All right. So, you what have you come away with the most this week outside of the fight with Rappaport and Schultz?
Yeah, I'm trying to protect myself at every corner, every Starbucks. I've had to have plenty of Starbucks, so I am reminded of that every time I go to get a coffee. And then even saw Ian Rappaport last night just on his own. I joked like, "Hey, no bodyguard around you?" Like he's out in these streets. But yeah, so on the Dolphin side of things, let's see. I mean, I'm still looking at all right. Let's start with guards in free agency. Obviously, they have decisions to make there. I think a lot of that is still is still to come. I don't think they're at a point where they've narrowed things down too much. One name I'll keep thinking about is Aaron Banks from the San Francisco 49ers.
Somebody just asked about him now. Somebody just asked about him now. Yeah. They can afford to go after Aaron Banks if they want to.
Right, because he'll be a little bit on the lower end of the top free agent guard. So not the top tier, but next tier. But got through his first 4 years with the 49ers. Obviously, Mike McDaniel was involved in drafting him in his final draft class, I want to say. Yes, it would have been with the 49ers. So he was offensive coordinator. So an obvious connection there. And the Dolphins need guards.
What about Jonah Jackson? I talked about him yesterday.
Yeah.
The Rams have now given him an opportunity. He is 6'3", 315. He's coming off an injury.
Right, injury.
And they found a guy, so they're good with it. But he's not an injury-prone guy. He just had an injury last year. But this guy was a badass in Detroit. And so I'm like, okay, well, he plays center. He's not just a guard. He can also play center. He's got 5 years of experience, 4 played. So 1 that he kind of took off from last year. So you're talking about a guy that really is in the prime of his career. And because he is owed money on this contract, they can't really ask for a high pick. So I'm thinking maybe you could have him for a 3rd round. You might be able to get him. I don't know if you can get a 2nd rounder, but if I'm the Dolphins, I don't want to give up my 1st or 2nd, but I would give up my 3rd for him. I'm just wondering, what do you think of Jonah Jackson? Have you heard anything?
Yeah, the Dolphins should inquire. So obviously, you could probably get him at a better price because of the injury. We know Chris Greer is not afraid to go after a player who has just recently been injured, and maybe find a better deal, better value for him if you can get the same quality of play that he was just at before the injury. So, yeah, I'm interested in Jonah Jackson. Obviously, yeah, like you said, he was a badass in Detroit. So something that they could work off of. And hey, if you need guards, I wouldn't mind if a mid-round draft pick for someone who has established himself but is coming off injury, you could get at a little bit better of a price as opposed to maybe taking a chance. A mid-round guy, really, you don't know what you're going to get. Whether it's guard, whether it's, I think of a couple of years ago, the top draft pick the Dolphins had was a third rounder in Channing Tindall, and then he's never seen the field. So, that would be a more sure thing, even with the injury, than a draft prospect. But of course, you still need to supplement it with some of these 10 picks. But if you expend one of those on someone who has been established, like Jonah Jackson, then I could be interested in it.
I know we've been snake bitten the last couple of years with all the injuries, but the Philadelphia Eagles were led by an injury-prone running back all the way to the Super Bowl, right?
Right. Got a hell of a season.
Saquon Barkley was a sack of injuries, bro.
Yeah.
A sack of injuries. And, the last couple of years now, he's kind of stayed away from injuries. And he's been absolutely phenomenal. So sometimes, you get the good streaks and then you get the bad streaks. And, sometimes it's just a bunch of bad luck. And I think that's been a lot of what's happened to Miami the last couple of years. You can't scare yourself all the time from players that have injuries because they're all going to have injuries at one point or another, dude. Marino blew out his Achilles. Then what are you going to do? Just give up on Marino? No. You just keep going forward, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta if Luka Doncic doesn't take care of himself physically, okay, well, you got to try to find a way to make it work. Don't be the Dallas Mavericks and trade him away. Find a way. The guy's special. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I think the Dolphins have tolerated Teron Armstead so much, because when he plays, he's impeccable. You know what I'm saying? But there's a time and a place, and that's why I've told you, like with Teron, you got to start to move on now because you've got his replacement. You've got to move on to the new guy. You know what I'm saying? But at times, you're going to have to take chances with injured players, and the Jonah Jackson guy, I would tell a Dolphin fan, yo, chill out, bro. Everything can't be perfect. You're just not going to find, Trey Smith would be the guy. But he's going to get franchised now, so you're not going to touch him. You know what I mean? So move on. Let's go. What's the next option?
Right. And not to mention Trey Smith, I just feel like would have been out of the Dolphins' price range. I still don't see them. While we hear everything about the Dolphins' need to invest in the offensive line, I still wouldn't see them paying the same type of salary that you just let Robert Hunt slide for. To bring in someone else like a Trey Smith, who would be the top free agent guard had he not been franchise tagged, which now, obviously that question is answered. He'll be tagged. The Chiefs are still trying to work out a contract extension, but he's now off the board. But I just wouldn't have seen them going right to the top, even though, yes, the Dolphins do need to invest in the interior offensive line and guard play, but still, you're still trying to find the best economical choice for where the Dolphins are salary cap wise, where they had to cut 3 players just to get now sort of in the range of salary cap compliance before we really get into a free agency and now it's almost a week away.
All right, so I know how this goes, and as people that follow it and cover it, you start to pick favorites and guys that you think they should pick or you like at that spot. So now you've been a week at the combine and looking everything up. I don't really like talking about the draft until we get to free agency, to be quite honest. Then I like to focus on the draft. But for shits and giggles, since people love this, give us a guard or a defensive tackle that the Dolphins should consider in that first round.
Yeah, in the first round, if it is a guard, strictly guard, then the only one that I think should go at at 13? If so, would be Tyler Booker from Alabama. So now, if Kelvin Banks maybe with some positional versatility, he's a tackle, but maybe you want to use him as a guard. There's a lot of examples of guys like that. Robert Hunt was a tackle first and played some guard. Austin Jackson, drafted to be a left tackle, played some guard, and then has since found his home at right tackle. Liam Eichenberg, they moved him inside to guard. Now, some of that is when you maybe see some struggles at tackle and you want to see if you can get something else out of him. But now Kelvin Banks would be a great pick, but obviously you do have your plan at both tackle spots. So then if you want to start someone at guard, I mean, he'd be amazing. But obviously if it's just strictly a guard, Tyler Booker would be the guy. But of course, guard position is something where maybe you could go a different way. If you're going defensive tackle early, maybe find, if he's there in the second round, a Gray Zabel, that would be fantastic. But if there's a defensive tackle at that spot, because you're not going to get a Mason Graham there, but if Walter Nolan is there, he could be a good one. And then Kenneth Grant should go in the middle of the first round. He's more of a nose tackle, bigger dude. Yeah. But do you want to use your first round pick on that position? Then that's a choice, as opposed to just like a more 3 technique type of defensive tackle. But also a versatile defensive lineman who I love and is a South Florida prospect, Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M, can sort of play along that defensive line, 285 pounds. So can be the 3 technique, can move out to the edge. And so obviously a phenomenal athlete. Now, didn't have the college sacks, so similar story to Chop Robinson. But if we know anything from him, then that worked out pretty well so far. So, but Shamar Stewart has probably gotten himself into the first round, but he figured to maybe more so go later. I don't know how much his stock will rise with the combine workouts he just had. He really impressed just last night. So we'll see how much he skyrockets. I don't know if he would be in the 13 range, but hey, even if you've got so many options at 13 and you could trade down and still get one of these guys and add some more draft capital that maybe turns into something else. If you trade some of that back away, all these different permutations, then there will be options for the Dolphins.
They have more options now. The cap went up $21 million, so they'll have a little extra space. Are you expecting them to rework any other deals to create more space, like the Tua deal or something else?
Yeah, I would lean no right now on Tua. Just because you still have to give yourself that out maybe in a couple of years.
Especially you're stuck with them for 2 years. That's a great point. If you guarantee more, then you're it's kind of like the Tyreek thing that people still don't seem to understand.
Yes.
Like if you trade Tyreek now, you're going to create all kinds of dead cap space. And for people trying to save their jobs, they cannot create dead cap space. That's not productive. That doesn't allow them to add more players. That's less players on the roster is what it is, or less money to add players on the roster is what it. That's the part that people don't understand about either the Tua deal or the Tyreek deal, that the penalties are just absolutely crippling.
Yeah. And you can still find other ways. You have other restructuring options. So you don't need to go the Tua route. So I would lean toward giving yourself flexibility with Tua, so that if it happens again, either this upcoming season or the next year, where the injury history continues to preside, then you could have flexibility to move on and find another route to go at quarterback. So
I love that. I love that by you, because what you got to do is example. Let's say he plays like he played 2 years ago. He gets rid of the ball, doesn't get touched, plays all year. Now you could go into the next offseason, and if you had a successful season, you can now say, okay, now we can create some space because, okay, he's playing smart. But if he does the stupid stuff, like he goes trying to chase down tacklers or take on tacklers and all that and getting concussed, then that's when you're, okay, that's why we didn't guarantee any more money. And this gives us the opportunity to get the hell out of this deal.
Right. Yeah, then you're just 1 year away. Then you just have one more season, and you could even start making some real quarterback moves 1 year away. Yeah. So you could even streamline it to just next offseason if that were to occur that way. But yeah, I mean, from the quarterback perspective, I definitely like them to find. You're not going into the drafts with it still a need. I think they definitely need to solidify it in free agency with a top veteran. I would like Jimmy Garoppolo remains my number one choice there, but if Marcus Mariota, of course, as Adam Schefter has thrown out there, then he might be next up. Yeah, I know, but I think he
Makes
might. Hopefully it's just Jimmy G. We never get there. Yeah,
that's all this Hawaii bullshit. This is all because they played because they know each other. They played in the same high school system and all that. He doesn't fit this system. He does not fit. He does not have the accuracy to fit in this system. I'm not sure why anybody would mention Mariota outside of the laziness of the Hawaii tag. I mean, if they sign Mariota, dude, I will make every volcano in the world look like it's nothing of an explosion. Okay?
You hear that, Dolphins? You hear that? Are you watching?
I mean, they know in the building more than I do.
Yeah.
But I don't think the general public understands that he cannot play in this system. And that's what I'm trying to that's the part that I don't think people understand. He doesn't have the accuracy. He's a guy that leans on his running more than anything else. And he will shy away from a pass quickly. He will give up on a play quickly and use his legs. And that's one thing I will say that Mariota can do. He can run. But he can also get injured too.
Yeah. And then as far as from the salary cap creation aspect of it, then I still gather that the Bradley Chubb thing will be a serious decision. It's not so like home run one way or the other. Really, it's really going to be a tough decision that they have to make. And then the ability to be able to create some cap space with some restructures, combined with the number maybe coming in at a better figure, then maybe could lead them to say, hey, let's give it a shot, or force a pay cut. If you can get him back at a pay cut, then that would be really ideal. But it will be a true decision that the Dolphins have to make, whether to give him the post June 1 designation cut or keep him and see it through with the commitment that you made from seeing him miss the entire last season rehabbing that knee and trying to finally get the fruits of that labor.
Well, one caveat to the Mariota deal that I have to correct myself on. Mike McDaniel was stupid enough not to know that Skylar Thompson couldn't play, and he was around him for 3 years. So he might be stupid enough to sign Marcus Mariota. So, I mean, listen, I mean, far be it from me to say that he doesn't fit, but I'm just saying, the guy that's currently in place didn't know that Skylar Thompson couldn't play. So, the guy that's in place didn't change the offense when he put Tyler Huntley in for Tua. So the guy that's in place is
that's what I was going to bring up. Yeah.
The guy that's in place isn't very good at this. So,
Yeah, I was going to mention how Tyler Snoop Huntley wouldn't be the prototypical fit for the system either. And then he was the choice at backup quarterback once the Dolphins did realize, okay, the Skylar Thompson project in year 3 went awry, and he got injured in that Seattle game. Well, they had already signed him, Huntley, right before that, but then to go immediately to Huntley as the starter for the very following week, what was it, 12, 13, I think it was 12 days after he had been officially signed. We think back, that was a tough time watching that Monday night Tennessee game. Huntley's off the street, and he's trying to run this offense that he doesn't really fit in. So they have made moves for not the typical fit for the offense, and gone with him, and Huntley remained that backup choice ahead of Thompson, of course. Once you saw what you were getting out of Thompson last year.
Mike McDaniel has just absolutely lost me. All right, what do you got going on in the Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, so much from the combine. Yesterday, got to talk to Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end, Georgia safety Malachi Starks. So just keeping up with who the Dolphins are meeting with. Some D-line prospects the day before, like Shamar Stewart was big on his meeting with the Dolphins. This morning, writing about Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, some of the UM guys, a loaded UM class, including at the top with Cam Ward up there. So today was the
Smart move, by the way, by him. They're not throwing them. It's stupid to throw in the combine, bro. You're one of the top players. Don't lift, don't throw, don't do any of that. Just do the interviews and the medicals. Yeah. That's the only important stuff in the combine, bro. If you're a third and a fifth rounder and a seventh rounder or a street free agent, you need to do everything they ask you to do, bro. You know what I'm saying? But when you're a top pick, waste your time with that stupid shit. Come on, bro. The tape's there, and you can show it in your pro day with your guys. You know what I'm saying? Smart move by him. I agree with him on that.
Yeah. So writing that up, I'll be updating it with more once I get off here, and also Xavier Restrepo not running the 40 at the combine. So he's more of the agility game anyway. So
yeah,
that'll show. And X will run the 40 at the pro day on March 24th for UM.
Terrell Suggs ran like a 5 flat or something in the 40. Look it up there, Terrell Suggs pro day bust or something. And I was like, did you watch him play? Who gives a shit? Just go draft a guy. And he was a monster. Jerry Rice ran like a 4.6, you know, in the 40. This is, you got it there already?
Yeah. 4.84.
4.84, Terrell Suggs. All of a sudden, he couldn't play. It's like, what's wrong with you people? Did you watch him play in college? Like, he was a terror. He was a monster. Don't worry about his 40. And it's just, we get too caught up with this stupid stuff, bro. And it just, that doesn't really make a football player, dude. And that's a great example you put up with Restrepo. He's not a guy that you look at in the 40. He's a route runner. He's a catcher. He's a guy that understands space. He's a football player. It's different. You can't measure a football player on a track meet. It's just not, two different things, you know? So yeah, that's it's interesting. I'm glad these guys are making the smart decisions for their careers on that one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Better yet, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and support all our terrific writers there. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a great weekend. Safe trip back. We will see you on Tuesday.
Sure. Sounds good.
Got it. The great David Furones and Welton Rayom. We love talking about Welton Rayom. They know how to get it done. Jeff Welton, Daniel Rayom, 954-966-4646. I tell you all the time, something happens to you. You don't know if you have a case or not. The consultation's completely free. You call, you ask for Daniel, you ask for Jeff. They'll get to the phone. They'll explain everything to you. Something happened to you, bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, personal injury. You explain to Jeff Welt everything going on, and he'll tell you if you've got a case. And if you've got a case, a guy like Daniel Rayom will go in there and battle it out like the bulldog that he is. The dude is a stunt pilot. So in the courtroom, he's not nervous. You know what I'm saying? Jeff Welt has been at this for decades, kicking serious ass. They handle cases and they take on corporations. They take on the big boys and they slam them down. They slam them in a way that they might end up on the Square Circle Digest with the kind of slam that they put on them. So call them 954-966-4646. The website, WRFLAlaw.com. Welt and Rayom.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. We are back. And by the way, the customer appreciation sales event is going on, and we are in the last couple of days of it here. So come on out here at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 and Pines. Number one volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States, and number one Acura dealership, by the way, in the USA, actually. Right now, the 2025 Integra, you can get it for $335 a month, 3.9% financing for 60 months. The ZDX, you can get electrified, $449 a month, 72 months, 0.9% financing, no payments for 90 days. The RDX, my wife drives it every day, 2025 model, you can get it for $399, 3.9% financing. And the MDX Tech, we can take $10,000 off the MSRP. Come on out here. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Tomorrow, they're open till 8 p.m. Sunday, they're open till 7 p.m. And the service center is open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 8. Saturday, 8 to 5 p.m. Jordan Ferber, Mike Chan, they do an awesome job. Go see Mike Chan out there. Tell him that Big O sent you. If you own or lease a vehicle, you're going to love the service center here because it is a beautiful place. You get to relax and kick back and chill out. Love it. Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Let's see. Thank God. Please don't restructure to his deal. They probably won't. They probably won't. You gotta keep it open for the next 2 years because you're stuck with them for 2 years for sure. Just like the whole Tyreek thing, it's same silliness. You don't want to rework that deal either. Why? Because you're stuck with them. You can't trade them. You know, people want to trade them. They want to trade too. You can't trade any of them. You're stuck with them. It's all that. So Mariota's like Tyler Huntley. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I would say something like that. Manny is ready to go. I love it. All right. So that means Bitcoin is pumping, right? Let's see. What's going on with Bitcoin? What's going on with Bitcoin? Well, we jumped to 84,000. We were at 78,000 at 3 a.m. We were at 79.8 at 5 a.m. We were at 81.4 at 8 a.m. And at 10 a.m., we were at 83,845. And now we're at 84,000. So Bitcoin climbing, leading up to a Manny Navarro segment. Typical. Let's fire off hour number 2 with our CanesWare Miami Hurricanes report as Bitcoin climbs, and our Big Cheese Miami.com NIL and recruiting report next.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's CanesWare at Miami Fanware in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at CanesWare.com or InnerMiamiWear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. CanesWare, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the CanesWare Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro. Exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Right. There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. And Bitcoin moving up. Let's go. Let's see if it continues to climb. My brother, how you doing? You doing good?
Doing good, getting ready for the start of Miami spring practices next week. Back from vacation, working on a ton of stuff. So back in work mode, brother.
All right. So I'm not going to worry as much about the O-line, right? But I am going to worry about some other positions, right? There's some other positions I might be a little concerned about. And I know that you signed a quarterback, but it still has to all kind of work out too. Like, while you got a great prospect in there, still has to kind of, the Cam Ward thing went so beautifully and so smooth last year. It's hard to imagine that you're going to get act number 2. It's hard to live up to what Cam did.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the quarterback position and the way Cam Ward made up for a lot of problem areas, right, on other parts of the field, particularly on defense, because that was the number 1 offense in the country. And so there were a lot of times Miami just outscored opponents, right? They just kept scoring as much as they could to pull out games. This coming season, things are going to be different. Carson Beck will be taking over, but he is not going to be healthy and available for the start of spring camp. So you're going to have a chance to really look at maybe the quarterback of the future. And, does that guy really develop? Luke Nickel will be on campus, is on campus. He'll be there for the start of spring ball. He is viewed as the future, I think, by most of the coaching staff. But there are other guys there, Judd Anderson, Emory Williams, who's still on the roster. Emory Williams hasn't left yet. So they will compete, and we will see who gets comfortable with really a young and inexperienced receiver group. People forget, Miami loses 6 of their top 7 receivers to the NFL or the transfer portal after last season, including Elijah Royal, their tight end. So we can talk about quarterback, but think about how easy life was when you had Xavier Restrepo and Jacoby George and Elijah Royal and all kinds of guys making plays for you. So that's going to be a big storyline. New quarterbacks, new receivers on the offensive side of the football.
Yeah, that's some of the areas that I would be concerned about is receivers. And then on defense, man, holy crap. I'm going to be worried about that secondary once again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And really, you look at it from a talent perspective. I think Miami upgraded the most in the secondary through the transfer portal. I mean, you're getting 5 guys that are all really talented, highly coveted. Charles Brantley from Michigan State, Ethan O'Connor from Washington State, Zachariah Poyser from Jacksonville State, who was all conference, Emmanuel Carnley from Arizona, super talented kid, and then Xavier Lucas, who's considered the prize of them all, from Wisconsin. So you got 5 guys that are really talented that people consider, big time players. You bring them back with OJ Frederic, who was your freshman, from St. Thomas Aquinas, who started and was your best cornerback all season. You look to see what Damari Brown is going to do. He was hurt most of last season, but he's a guy that you hope develops into something really good for you in year 3. And then Zaquan Patterson, the really talented safety who was just a freshman last year. So you're going to have those 8 guys sort of leading a secondary that absolutely has to play better than it did last year. But Miami poured a lot of NIL resources into that position. They hired an entirely new defensive staff. And so those guys will get to work on Monday.
Let's hope so. When we look at the changes, how are the changes right now in practices and how they handle the off season? Because it seems like we're going into an NFL-like schedule on the college side.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way things are going to operate now. This is the off season this is the spring season for them. Their time to work together to get through 15 practices. And then they go into summertime and it's workouts and it's training and it's getting ready for the beginning of August, the end of July, when they can get back together and start, getting their act together for the start of the season. I think, the way college football has changed is it's basically become NFL free agency, right? In the offseason, really before the season's even over, when they're still playing bowl games. And so that's the way it's changed. And let's not forget, there's another spring window. So there's guys that are on the team right now that could decide after they get through camp that, hey, you know what? I don't like where I'm standing on this roster and take off. And then that creates another problem for Mario. So I would say that it's a little different because I think in the NFL, if you're under contract, you're with that team. In college, you want to take off in April for a new place because you don't like the way things are. You can do that because, you have the freedom to do that. There's a transfer portal window. So it's a little different than the NFL, but similar in a lot of ways as well.
True Fin fan, by the way, is asking, Manny, would you say this year's Canes team won't be as good as last year's, but more balanced?
It's really hard to say, because there's so much movement in college football now in terms of rosters. And so while we're so hyper-focused on Miami and we say, man, this team has to be worse, right? They're losing Cam Ward. They have 10 guys go to the NFL Combine this week. They have to be worse. The reality is Mario's entering year 4. He's recruited a lot of talented players, and those guys have been developing behind the scenes. So you don't know until you get out there, August 31st against Notre Dame, what you really have. And I would say the other aspect is you don't know what the rest of the country has because they're going through the same exact thing, right? There's so much roster turnover, so many guys leaving, so many guys transferring out. They're going to go through April transfer periods as well. So it's a lot harder now to handicap and say, hey, is this team more talented or worse off? I personally think that being year 4, I think this should be a better team under Mario. He's had 4 years to build this thing. He's had time
I hope
to
they're
develop.
better on defense.
Yes,
Jesus, I hope they're better on defense. Just that alone, bro, please.
If they're better on defense, they're a better team than they were last year. And even if they're not as good on offense, even if the receivers struggle, even if the quarterback isn't as good as Cam Ward, I still think this can be a better team because you're going to have better balance on both sides of the football. And last year, it was clearly unbalanced as the season went on. If the offense didn't show up and perform, they basically had no chance of winning.
Right. Yeah, that's why it's hard to expect the next quarterback to do some of the crazy shit that Cam did. So you're going to have to be better and more balanced. And True Fin Fan may be onto something because if you are a better defense, you're right. You're probably going to be more balanced. The one thing I can tell you, I know you're losing Martinez and stuff. I still think you're going to be an awesome running team. I don't worry as much about the O-line and the running game because of the coach. I know that's one area that I know he's going to get right year in and year out. He knows his offensive linemen. His assistant coaches know their offensive linemen very well. Mirabal is one of the best out there at all of that. So to me, I feel good, even though you're losing Rivers and all that. But I still think the turnover is going to be solid there, and I know you're going to have a running game, but I cannot expect your passing game to be what Cam did. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
The good thing is, whoever is QB, you'll have some time to pass.
Yeah, and again, you have 4 offensive linemen that started at least 12 games last season on the starting unit. Your 5th guy is Markel Bell, who's an absolute monster giant, 6'8", 330 pounds, a long-ass wingspan. Like he started 5 games for you last year, wasn't always great, but again, player development. That's what this is about, right? It's taking the next step. And Mario has recruited that offensive line position well. So yes, there are guys that haven't played that position yet, but they're going to step up. And by the way, if I'm putting it together a little story for next week, but if I were to give you what am I most concerned about going backwards, going from most concerned at the top backwards, number 1 for me is receiver. Number 2 would be quarterback because you still need to see that Carson Beck's elbow's okay. And if he can't go or something happens, who replaces him? Secondary would be next, only because they were so bad last season, but I got more faith in that. Yeah, because but I have more faith in it because of all the changes that they made there. To me, defensive line, you got 3 guys that are veterans back: Akeem Mesidor, David Blay, the transfer from Louisiana Tech, and Ruben Bain, who we know was injured last year, didn't play his best. But you got a bunch of young guys that have to step up and elevate their game. So that's the next thing for me. And then kicker. Those are the top 5. And kicker only because Borregales was so damn good. Anytime you replace that kicker, you're always like, man, who comes in? Well, Miami recruited well. They got Abram Murray waiting in the wings. So hopefully that kid steps in and doesn't have, a moment where he struggles, because I've seen that happen before too, right? Super talented, highly recruited kickers come in and all of a sudden they're missing kicks left and right. And you're just like, what's happening? So to me, those are the 5. I think everything else, linebacker, running back, offensive line, I'm super confident in those positions. I think Miami is really good there.
Don't forget, folks, use our code BIG010 at CanesWare, whether it's online at CanesWare.com or in person, so you can get 10% off anything in the store. BIG010, you will get 10% off at CanesWare. And remember, online, if you order over $100, over $99, you will get free shipping. So Jeff and the boys will get that thing shipped out right away for you. So check it out there at CanesWare.com.
Welcome to CanesWare. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CanesWare has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at CanesWare.com. CanesWare, the spot Miami fans shop.
We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
Gary and Billy, the owners of the Big Cheese, they are the Big Cheese. Yes, sir. They created the Big Cheese 40 years ago, and they gave us that delicious product now for decades. Go check it out there, 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue. All right, Manny, we got the Under Armour game coming up now with the recruits coming up, the Under Armour Miami camp. Talk to me a little bit about that and what you're doing there.
Yeah, it's Sunday morning. I will actually only be able to be there for a couple of hours. It usually runs until about 3 p.m. But you got all the 2026, 2027 elite prospects from South Florida and different parts of the state that come down to participate in it. So it's always a good event to go to just to talk to guys because you have so many talented kids there. But there's, some really good 2026 guys that I think if you're a Miami Hurricanes fan, you probably already know their names. But guys that you're going to follow their recruitment from now up until December. And so we can talk a little bit about those guys. Number one, Calvin Russell, big time 5-star wide receiver / tight end out of Miami Northwestern. Here's a guy who I think is getting recruited really, really hard to go play at Syracuse for Fran Brown. Miami is doing a really good job recruiting him as well, but it's probably going to be a Miami-Syracuse battle up until the end. Again, NIL, I'm sure will play a factor in this, especially with top 100 recruits. Miami is one of the strongest NIL programs in the country. But again, there's relationships, there's assistant coaches. That's the kind of kid, Calvin Russell, who could go to Syracuse, probably make some good money on NIL and be the star there. Miami needs wide receiver help. They're going to be young at that position. He will be watching, I'm sure, Miami's offense this year. And if he goes back and he looks at what Syracuse just did with Kyle McCord, he's going to be impressed, right? Especially Oronde Gadsden Jr., the season he had. And so Calvin Russell is a sort of Oronde Gadsden Jr. type prospect. He will be at the camp on Sunday. I'm interested in talking to him. Derek Cooper, who we've mentioned on the show several times, Hollywood Chaminade, running back. I think this is a super talented kid. He will be there as well. Miami obviously trying to recruit him. Jordan Campbell, linebacker out of Carroll City High School, 2026. He's been a long-time Miami commitment to this point. And then Javian Mallory, who is a superstar running back out of West Boca Raton. He is a high-end Miami target as well. He will be among the kids participating.
Okay. The other stuff that goes on is poaching right now.
Yes.
So talk to me, since, because you just talked about it in our last segment, how there might be some kids out of the spring practices that they find out they're not in a really good position. They may want to transfer. Well, now we've got maybe some coaches that might be looking to steal a player or two from somewhere else. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, you look at what Miami just brought in their defensive staff. Will Harris, who comes over from the University of Florida, Zach Etheridge, who comes over from Houston. Those are two teams, obviously, that have talent. Florida's secondary was one of the best in the country. I don't want to sit here and just throw names out of college guys that they're going to pick off. But essentially, I would just tell you, if you're looking for more upgrades on the Miami roster in the spring transfer window, there's a good hint, right? Florida and Houston are potentially two teams.
Didn't the Canes get like a Gator corner to transfer over because of the whole Will Harris thing?
Well, they have a kid who was decommitted that is probably going to end up in Miami's class. That's a 2026 kid. But yeah, there are other guys.
He committed from the Gators. Is that the guy that I remember? I just don't remember the name. Is that the kid we're talking about?
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
a
after
2026.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
2026
After they hired Will
Gators,
Harris, I
defensive
thought
back.
they stole somebody. I thought like some kid decommitted right away after Will Harris signed. That's what I thought.
Yes. There were I think there were a couple kids who were Florida players that decommitted after, the change in the secondary in terms of their secondary coach. And those are guys, they haven't committed yet to Miami. But those are guys that are definitely on the radar for Miami. I was going to mention
any of those names because I think I think it might have been you.
Yeah, I mentioned it before. Let me go back and look at my notes here because there's so many kids to keep track of.
I know that when that happened, something happened. And I think we talked about
Jalen Waters. It was Jalen Waters. That was the kid. Jalen Waters.
Yeah.
He plays for Miami Raw, the 7-on-7 team. So any kids that end up playing for Miami Raw, I always say, the Hurricanes have a really good shot at getting. There's certain programs that just play for that feed into different colleges. Miami Raw has a really good connection with the Hurricanes in terms of eventually sending players to UM. So that's the kid, Jalen Waters out of Sefner Armwood. Plus he has two former high school teammates that just signed with Miami. But some other guys to keep an eye on here, and this is again because of the new hires, players that were just offered. Zach Fort, who's a Bradenton IMG 4-star recruit. He's been committed to Georgia since late January. I think he's a guy that you need to watch out for because of Will Harris and the relationship they have. Dorian Barney, he's a 4-star recruit from Georgia, the state of Georgia. He's going to be at the start of camp on Monday. He's a 2026 recruit as well, uncommitted at the moment. Preston Carey, a defensive tackle out of IMG Academy, 4-star kid, 6'4", 280 pounds. Damian Lewis, the defensive tackles coach, will help to try and convince Carey to come here. Alabama, USC, Syracuse, Rutgers are the other schools after him. He's a kid out of New York. A lot of New York kids end up in Miami because they love the campus, love the scenery, love the change of pace. I think that's a guy to keep an eye out for. And one more to mention to you, linebacker Tony Williams, kid out of Jacksonville Reigns, Miami's new defensive coordinator, Corey Heatherman, coaches the linebackers. And so those are 4 guys that I would say in the 2026 class, you talk about poaching or getting involved with maybe that you really haven't been to this point. Those are all guys that I think Miami has a chance to take.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. What do you got working on the Athletics so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing a story on quarterbacks and breaking down, the guys that had success last season, looking at all the quarterback rooms nationally in terms of returning starting experience and, who's kind of in the strongest positions. That'll be coming out early next week. And then I'm doing a ton of stuff on the transfer portal. So they're all projects that I've been working on here for the past week, brother, spending a lot of time researching and interviewing and talking to people. So but the quarterback story will be out first, and then I will be at the Under Armour on Sunday, and then at the start of Miami practice on Monday. So I'll have stuff from those events as well.
All right, good stuff. As always, follow him on Twitter, Manny_Navarro, and make sure you subscribe to The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Tuesday, my friend. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Take care, man.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro with our Big Cheese Miami.com NIL and recruiting report.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!
All right. Thank you all, as always. Appreciate you all. We're out here at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Come on out here and check us out. The lot is overflowing. So we got all kinds of new vehicles, got certified pre-owned vehicles. So check it out here at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Chase is telling me a new Reacher season. I watched the first 3 episodes. Got to say, better start than season 2. And I enjoyed season 2, but I like season 3. I like the start of it already. So got to agree with that. Sorry, Frankie, didn't get to that question on how many Canes will get drafted, but several are going to get drafted this year. They're going to have several drafted. They'll have easily 5 or 6, 7 guys drafted. Yeah, Royo for sure. Right, Cam, Restrepo. What's it called? Jalen Rivers. It's a whole bunch of them, dude. We're gonna have a whole bunch of players. The running back will get drafted, Martinez, and a bunch of players are gonna get drafted. So it's gonna be a good year for Mario, for his program to sell that they're moving guys to the NFL now more than they were the last couple of years. So that's a good thing. I just need Mario to start winning the big games. That's the only thing. Mario's got me very concerned on game day. Very concerned. Very, very concerned about game day. All right. Let's see. What do we got? Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. And the great Alan Blanco, 786-618-1443, custom printing and embroidery. Please call Alan Blanco and 3A Graphics. Cam Ward, breaking news, has announced he will not throw at the combine. Very smart move by Cam. He's going to throw on his pro day, which makes a lot of sense. On the ice last night, the Panthers defeated the Oilers in a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals, 4-3. Lundell, kid's turned into a stud. Goal and 2 assists. Bob had 24 saves. Saturday, they take on Calgary at 3 o'clock. Tonight, on the hardwood, the Pacers are visiting the Heat. The 33-24 Pacers taking on the 27-30 Miami Heat. And on Sunday at 7 o'clock, the Inter Miami squad will visit the Houston Dynamo in MLS action. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. Don't forget, folks, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And you can make a Bitcoin or Ethereum donation too at the same time, which we appreciate that. You can also make a donation through PayPal. And you see all the QR codes there. You can use the QR codes to make the donations. What you got?
Your boy Kurt Heelan.
Oh, what do we got?
He's saying the Mavericks reportedly approached the Timberwolves about
I saw that.
Doncic for Anthony Edwards trade. They shot it down, and ultimately the Anthony Davis stunner happened.
Yeah, that was Sam Amick.
So apparently, it wasn't just. Oh, is that from? I'm just going off.
He's aggregating it. But,
okay.
But Sam Amick from the Athletic, if we're going to give proper credit to
definitely.
who deserves it. Sam reported that. I saw that this morning. I retweeted it. There was some talk about Luka for the Ant. Yeah, but I would not trade Ant for Luka. Ant-Man doesn't have any conditioning issues. So, yeah, no, I probably would not make that trade either. So I would have to agree with that one. Raiders and Matt Stafford have found common ground on a contract. So that tells me a couple things. If if you're Stafford and you want to win, you're not going to the Raiders. So this is not about winning anymore. And it tells me that Matt Stafford is not finding a situation where he can go win. Because remember what I told you, there aren't really a lot of them. And if you want to do one, it would have to be one that you would have to like kind of accommodate in order to get him in there. Like I told you, Minnesota. Like I would rather have Matt Stafford than anybody they have in Minnesota because you have a ready-made team for the Super Bowl. But most of the teams that are contenders, remember we went through the list, they pretty much have their guy. They're not really going to move on from whatever guy they have. So he can't find that option. Now, the other option is, okay, well, then I close out my career as, the bridge guy, the culture guy, pay me. So it looks like they have come to an agreement, at least on the kind of money. They haven't come to an agreement completely on the contract, and they have to come to an agreement with the Raiders on with the Rams on a trade. That's the other thing. What I don't understand from the Rams, when Green Bay does it, it's you've done it 3 times. So like, okay, dude, if you want to move on from Favre and from Rodgers and the day you want to move on from Love, none of us can ever say anything about the Green Bay Packers because it doesn't matter. They have done it impeccably. But the rest of us don't do it that way. So I don't know. If I'm the Rams, I don't know why I'm dying to get rid of Matt Stafford. And apparently the Raiders aren't willing to give up their first-round pick. So it's going to be your second-round pick probably. And I don't know, man. The Rams were pretty good last year, and he was one of the reasons why we were pretty good. Now, listen, here's the other thing I got to give the Rams credit. They do a great job of getting off the gravy train. And if you're going to turn the page and you don't think you're a contender, then now's the time to get off that gravy train and try to, and maybe there's a quarterback he likes in this draft. Who knows? Maybe he likes Jackson Dart. And he's convinced Jackson Dart can be the guy. And he knows Jackson Dart's going to fall a little bit in that first round, maybe into the second round. And he's like, no, we can make a move for that guy right there. We're not going to be able to get Shador or Cam, but we might be able to get this guy. And I like him, and I can make him a quarterback, yada, 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 all that crap.
With the Raiders, they're just going to use Stafford to
the bridge,
groom whoever.
Bridge.
Yeah.
Bridge.
Yeah. But that's actually a
bridge, set the culture for the
That would be a smart move. This has got to be more Brady than anybody else. As far as like, hey, let's get this veteran in,
culture,
show them what you need to do,
right,
and then roll out. So, I mean,
culture bridge.
Can't believe I'm gonna say
that's what Matt Stafford is. Culture bridge.
If the Raiders can get it done.
It is a smart move for the Raiders. You are correct. You're 1,000% right. Right, exactly. But it makes sense from Brady's perspective. Now the question is, does Matt Stafford want to be that guy to end his career, or does he want to go somewhere where he has a chance to really compete? Because every week you're not really competing to win anything. You're helping an organization lift themselves off the ground. Matt Stafford doesn't need that already, dude. Doesn't need that shit. He's been in the league long enough. So it's interesting how it's clearly not about winning anymore if you're going to the Raiders. It's about being the bridge and setting the culture. Be that guy.
The Rams are set to draft 26th.
Yeah.
That's about the area where you said if you wanted
Jackson
to take
Dart.
a jump for Jackson Dart when you were talking about him.
And you pick up the 5th year.
Yeah. Only thing is, and it's interesting because both of their tackles are heading to free agency. Now you're going to bring in the young guy to.
Well, he may not even play as much the first year.
Yeah.
They may have a veteran to take the beating.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins, baby.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Definitely. Too Extreme says, hell no, Anthony Edwards is a Jimmy Butler on steroids type of player. That would have been a disaster of a trade for the Wolves. Yeah, no, I mean, if I'm the Wolves, I wouldn't give you Ant-Man for Luka, only because of the conditioning. If Luka would actually give a shit about conditioning, I'd easily make the trade. But because he doesn't, And Ant-Man does care about conditioning. Is he a little hot-headed? Like, yeah, so what? But that's part of him being a dog, so I don't have a problem with that. Plus, he's not a quitter or anything. He's not really a problem child or anything like that. He's a basketball player. He likes to play. So I'm good with Ant-Man. I'm good with Ant-Man. I think that would be a really cool move overall. What's it called? Let me do a little entertainment, a little music. Always love talking about that. I saw the Michelle Trachtenberg thing. They're not going to have an autopsy for her because they think there was no foul play because of the whole kidney thing. So, but you know what I wonder is she just had a kidney replacement just recently. She was alone in her house. Again, we don't know anything. I don't know. I guess because I come from a Latin house. We're like very family oriented, and like I don't know if I would leave my daughter alone. Like she would be in my house. She would be living with us or something. We would be watching over her. Somebody would be around all the time. It just again, don't know maybe Michelle didn't want to be around people. Maybe she doesn't like her family. Maybe what I have no idea. But I saw that they're not going to have an autopsy for Michelle Trachtenberg, and I was like, wow, it's kind of odd, That's weird. But what can I tell you? All right, let's get to musicians born on February 28th. We always feel for the ones born on the 29th. Let's see. We start off with Jason Aldean, country music. I'm not much of a country guy, but I know Jason Aldean is a badass. He was born on this date in 1977. Patrick Monahan, lead singer for Train. Hell of a singer. What a great singer that guy is. Born in 1969 on this date. Phil Gould, the drummer and songwriter for Level 42. Who else celebrating birthdays today? Ian Stanley, musician, songwriter, record producer with Tears for Fears, born on this date in 1957. Eddie Mannion, saxophonist for Southside Johnny and the Asbury Jukes. Jeff Nichols, keyboardist and a musician with Black Sabbath. We lost him in 2017. Don Ciccione, I think it's how it's pronounced. Ciccione was a member of the Four Seasons and Tommy James and the Shondells. We lost him in 2016. He was born in 46. Ronnie Rosman with Tommy James and the Shondells. He was born in 1945. And who else? Brian Jones, musician, composer, and founding and original leader of the Rolling Stones. All right. We lost him in 1969 after drowning in a swimming pool. Born in 1942. And that is it for musicians. Let's go with famous people born on this date. I think I did not save it correctly here. Here we go. All right. We start off with Luka Doncic. It's 26 today. The aforementioned Luka Doncic.
I feel like he's been in the NBA forever.
Well, because he came in like a teenager. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see who else. Allie Carter, who I think is a smoke show. She is 49, the TV actress. Robert Sean Leonard, TV actor, is 56. Who else? Barry McGuigan, boxer, is 64. Gilbert Godfrey, rest in peace, was born in the state in 55. We lost him in 22. Bernadette Peters. What a blast from the past. The sexy lady with a lisp. She is 77 years old. Let's see who else. And that is it for famous people. But hey, ending it with Bernadette Peters was pretty good. She's a little bit of a hottie back in her day. All right, your turn, sir. What do you got for us?
All right. Long list today. And I mean it, seriously. Ace Austin is 28. Brock Anderson, also 28. The great Kojika turns 83. Aaron Aguilera is 48. Tony Khan doesn't know how to use them, but Lance Archer turns 48 today. Masato Tanaka, he's 52. Smiling, Norman Smiley, the Big Wiggle, turned 60. The great Ricky Steamboat, he turned 72. Remember his match in WrestleMania 3 with the great Randy.
I remember every move.
There you go.
Every move.
And another person celebrating a birthday. Sadly, we lost him way too young at the age of 31. Joey Morella. He was the referee for the main event at WrestleMania 3 between Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan. Those are your birthdays for February 28th, 2025.
You weren't kidding. Long list there. All right, we switch over to music history. What happened today on February 28th? In 96, the 38th annual Grammy Awards were held in LA. There, Nirvana won the trophy for the best alternative music performance for their MTV Unplugged in New York album. In 96, on this date, the same Grammys, the original members of Kiss made an appearance, marking the first time in 17 years that the original group was on stage together in full makeup and costume. In 70, Led Zeppelin had to perform a gig in Copenhagen as the Knobs after Eva von Zeppelin, a native of the airship designer, threatened to sue the group if the family name was used in Denmark. In 2008, at the UK's NME Awards, Arctic Monkeys were the big winners, taking home awards for Best British Band, Best Track for Fluorescent Adolescent, and Best Video for Teddy Picker. At the same show, Muse, love Muse, won for the Best Live Band, and The Killers took Best International Act. If you've never seen Muse live, you're missing out. That's all. That's all I can tell you. You're missing out. So, there we go. She died so young. I know, right? 39, man. Every day's a blessing, dude. I tell you people that all the time, man. And as I get older, every day is a blessing. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So enjoy the hell out of today, because you have no idea what tomorrow brings. And it's so sad. So sad. I just didn't like that she was alone, after she had gone through some really serious. And again, I guess it just comes from my Latin upbringing, you know what I mean? So, my daughter's home with us all the time. She's in her mid-20s, and there's no hurry for her, when she's ready to move, and if she ever wants to get married or whatever, but we're not pushing her ass out. You know what I mean? We're wired differently, I guess. And I don't know what the situations are, but she had some serious surgery recently. And, my wife made that point. It's like, why is she alone? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of odd, but we live a life in our household where we're constantly in contact with each other. Always. daughter, me, my wife, my daughter, whatever, mother-in-law, whatever. We're like, it's like you can't miss an hour or two without checking in. You know, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, it's different. It's different. So that's the part that I felt terrible that she was alone. And nobody should die alone, dude. You know? Sad. Let's see. Big O, you're right. Reacher is still a badass. Plus, the new cop chick is a cutie. By the way, she is British. I just saw an interview with Reacher and her, and you know she has this strong Boston accent. And she is as British as the Queen's English, dude. So it trips me out with that. Because she does a great Boston accent. Let's see what else. Raiders draft Tatoria McMillan to pair with Bowers, bringing in Cooper Kupp with Stafford. Draft Khalil Mullings, running back from Michigan. Wilkins and Cosby healthy. This could be a playoff team with Matt. All right. I kind of like the plan you have concocted, by the way. Fucking makes sense, dude. I got to say. You know, Justin, if you know the show how it is, if I thought you were full of crap and you were wrong, I would have told you you're full of crap and you're wrong, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Maybe Brady should hire your ass. Joseph is in the house. Jamie Zorria. I'm so used to seeing Jamie Zorria's name in the beginning of the show. What's the main exchange you use to purchase your crypto, and what cold wallets you have for water coins? You use them. Oh, what coins?
I was trying to say, like, which cold wallets you have, and then do you, I guess, use a certain cold storage wallet for a certain coin?
Well, because sometimes some cold wallets only have certain coins that you can't put in other wallets. So that's why you're going to have multiple wallets sometimes. But the Tangent wallet, I think, can pretty much handle most every crypto that you're going to put in there. But Trezor is another one that I use. So those are the different cold storage wallets that I use. Trezor Model T. And I buy everywhere, dude. I buy on Cash App. I buy on Venmo. I buy on Swan. I buy on Uphold. I buy on Crypto.com. I buy on Binance. I buy on Kraken. I just don't keep it there. I might stack a certain amount and then move it to my cold storage wallet because there's a gas fee. So I got to see what gas fee it is. If it's minimal, it's nothing, like a Solana fee or something, then I'll just move anytime I have that. But if it's, a little bit of a charge, then I'll wait till I accumulate a certain amount and then I move it over. But I don't keep anything. The key is not to keep anything on the exchange. The key is to move it to your own cold storage wallet. So that way, when the Bybit hack happens, it doesn't happen to you. When the FTX collapse happens, it doesn't happen to you. So that's the idea. So stay away from that. So the idea is you want to have as many exchanges as possible to use, like the ones I talked about. You want to have all the options because if one is having problems, you can go to the other to buy some. You know what I'm saying? So you want to have multiple exchanges to use from. And remember, all exchanges aren't going to have all the coins. Like I love Caspa. You can't get it on Crypto or Binance or Kraken, but I can go get it on Uphold. See what I'm saying? So that's kind of where, you got to balance it all out. So, yeah. Yep, she's doing a Boston accent. Yep. Big O, when hanging out with you in Seattle, it warmed my heart to hear you talk about your wife and daughter. You're the best, my friend. Thank you. Well, I mean, two best things in my life. So, yeah, obviously. Everything's about them. Screw me. I don't care about me. Everything's about them, dude. That's what it's all about. So, what can I tell you all? Let's see what else. Remember Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And remember, you can send us to Spain. We need some help to get to Spain. We need a lot of help to get to Spain. There's the QR code. You can make the donation. Por favor. We'd appreciate it. Sean and myself. This is the one Dolphin game we want to cover on the road this year. Go to Spain, do our show all week long. By the way, NorCal this morning sent me a text. A gentleman named Hugo Manero Elorza, and he is the Dolphin Club president in España. So I'm going to have to hook up with him so we can plan. But if you want to help us, please get to Spain and cover the events, the Dolphin events. We'll give you any breaking news that happens. We'll do our live show, our weekly show from there, leading up to the game, do our pre- and post-game show, all of that. And probably, I'm pretty sure we'll do our Monday show from there and then travel. That's usually what happens. But anyway, if you want to help us get there, please make a donation. Use that QR code right there and make a donation to send us to Spain to cover the Dolphins taking on whoever it is. And let's hope it means something, which would be really cool. Not just because it's a special game, but because the Dolphins are actually accomplishing something. It would be nice. NorCal says, Big O, we should get Hugo from Spain on the show. Yeah, definitely. We definitely will get him on. Yeah. Let me get in contact. Let me get this thing rolling. I'm hoping that it becomes a little bit more realistic and we get, a good amount of donations to help us, get to Spain, because it won't be easy, won't be cheap. It's very expensive. So we'll see. One-Eyed Jack says USDC transfer from Coinbase on the Polygon network for free, then just swap for cash. You can do that too. You can do that also. There you go. Many ways you can get crafty. All righty. Appreciate you all out there. Thanks to Larry Schlossberg and the great people out here at, of course, Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. They've got the customer appreciation sales event going on right now. The MDX, the ZDX, $449 a month, 0.9% financing for 72 months. The RDX, 3.9% financing for 60 months, $399. They are the number one volume sales dealership, so come on out here. The Integra 2025 model, $339 a month, 3.9% financing. Last days here for the customer appreciation sales event. It ends tonight at 9 o'clock, so take advantage. And if you come out here, make sure you tell them that Big O sent you, because you should tell them when you call Cutter's Edge Pro or whoever, tell them that Big O sent you right here. Cutter's Edge Pro or CanesWare, you name it. Whatever it is, folks, make sure you tell them that Big O sent you. They will definitely take care of you as always. And by the way, I do want to welcome aboard a new sponsor, Omega Home Realty Group. Osmani Garcia, great dude. And Osmani's been a sponsor of mine for many years. And the Omega Home Realty Group has been at it for a long time. And Osmani has been servicing a lot of people in South Florida for many years. And I know a lot of you that listen to the show or watch the show in years past, you called Osmani. They've got the 990 program going on right now, 305-440-1990. That's 305-440-1990. And folks, the beautiful part about the 990 program is they offer you full service real estate services for $990, not free, full, compared to the traditional 6% commissions that are out there. And that's the thing. 6%, a hell of a lot more than $990. And the best part about the program that Omega does and Osmani Garcia, which you're going to love Osmani, he's a really good dude. You'll get the MLS listings, the Zillow listings, Realtor.com, and Homes.com. Plus, you get to set the preset showing times, 1, maybe 2 a week if you want. And all of this comes within everything that you're paying for $990. Your agent, by the way, actively will seek out buyers that you may not have seen your listing online. So if they find an interested buyer that they personally show your home, if that buyer makes the highest offer, now you only pay 2.5% commission instead of the 6%. And the $990 fee is waived. So either way, you get your home exposed to as many people as possible, like you would with a regular realtor. And Osmani does the same thing that a regular realtor does because he's been doing it for years, but he does it just for $990. But if he has to go out of the way to go out and also find somebody, it's only 2.5% financing. So you get the lower commission structure, you get a proactive agent, and the final cost of $990 at closing, or 2.5 commission if your agent brings in the best buyer. Call Osmani now, 305-440-1990, or use that QR code right there. All right. We got anything else? We got any questions? Big O, will you be doing any home games at a particular place? I don't know yet. We'll see. I have not sold it yet. I have not even bothered to go out there to sell it. It's because I'm basically, it's Sean and I doing everything. You know what I mean? So it's just like I just don't kill myself much. When we first started, I was killing myself, loading this place up, a whole bunch of insiders, selling all kinds of ads and all kinds of stuff. But it became also crazy. And I kind of wanted to pare it down, and I have already, and I'm kind of coasting along the way I've kind of kept it. I really don't want to overwork myself, to be quite honest. I just don't feel like doing it anymore. You know what I'm saying? Plus, I was doing it basically to pay for everybody else, and there were people that weren't even appreciating it. So I kind of got tired of all having so many insiders, and people started bickering about money. Like, anybody else paying for insiders in town? No, right? Okay. So kind of calm down, Frankie, after everything. Money isn't everything sometimes, man. It's kind of peace of mind is really sweet. So I'll try to sell it and see if I can get the Dolphins pre- and post-game shows out there and at least do maybe some of the road games, not the home games. But the one game for sure that we want to go to is the Spain game, because that'll be cool. That'll be something new, obviously of Spanish descent. That'll be really cool for me to go to something like that. But I've never, haven't been. Well, I went to Madrid years ago when I was a teenager, but haven't been there as an adult. So it would be cool to kind of go in this environment, in a sports environment, because I did not go in a sports environment when I think I was like 16 or 17, something like that. It's a long time ago. Let's see what we got here. Frankie Fresco, WWE Elimination Chamber prediction. Who you got? Logan Paul, John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. Okay, so only one can win?
The way the match works out is 2 guys start, the other 4 are locked in chambers. Every 5 minutes, they open up a chamber. If you get pinned, you're eliminated. Last man standing wins the match.
And once you're pinned, you're eliminated?
Yes.
Do you know who starts it, or we don't?
No, we don't know. It's by the pick. Luck of the draw.
I'm sure Logan Paul is going to last a little bit just for, viewing purposes, but I'm not going to pick Logan Paul, okay? And CM is a punk. So I'm going to keep CM out. John, goodbye Cena, because this is what it really means goodbye. So there's no way he makes it.
It is his final year. This is his last year of active wrestling. At the end of 2025, he hangs up the boots.
Okay, if he was wrestling a purple cow, I would pick him. But since he's not wrestling the, Imperium or whatever it is, whatever that stupid commercial is. But since he's not wrestling a purple cow, then I'm not going to pick John Cena. Then I got to go with Drew McIntyre. McIntyre is a guy that McIntyre sounds more like a plumber for me. Hey, McIntyre, come on out here and fix the sink. So I'm not going to go there. Damian Priest, well, a little too holy for me to pick a priest to win an all-out match. And because I was a Rosington Collins fan, okay, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins because he's going to be rolling. So Seth will be rolling and winning the WWE Elimination Chamber. That is my prediction. Seth Rollins rolls to the victory. Sean Stanley?
I did not pick Seth Rollins, although he is a favorite. I had CM Punk winning the Elimination
You can't pick
Chamber.
a Punk.
Yeah, but this Punk is Chicago made.
Why, it's in Chicago?
No, but it's
okay.
It's CM Punk.
Where is this fight at?
Toronto.
Where's Seth Rollins from?
Not Toronto.
Oh, okay. Michigan?
No, he's from Iowa. Well, that's where they bill him from. I don't really know where he's technically.
That's where he trains?
He actually has a gym there that he.
Hey, he's got to be from Iowa. Nobody claims Iowa unless they live in Iowa.
His name's Tyler Black.
Yeah.
That's his real name.
Okay.
He's got a gym there.
All right. I'm going with Seth Rollins.
It's not a terrible pick, honestly, because I feel like there's going to be some shenanigans in this one.
Okay. Mike Fox says, Big O, I was watching a Monday night game from the 98 Fins Pats. The Dolphin defense was absolutely loaded this year. It's a travesty they didn't do jack crap with those rosters. You're watching 98. How were they on offense? So that's been our problem for 40 years, dude. If you don't win on the lines of scrimmage, sure, you have your years where you have a couple of good defensive linemen and you have a decent defense, but your offense isn't pushing anybody around. In fact, your offense never pushes anybody around. Just kind of the way it is. And that's been our problem. We're always out of balance. That's always been our problem. And we never, that's why the last time we were dominant was when we were balanced. And that was the 70s. Since then, it has been an imbalance. Every single decade, 80s, 90s, and all the 2000s. We never have balance dominating at the lines of scrimmage. But we have had our share of defensive lines over the years, but we never match it with an offensive line that can kick ass to it the same way. And that's our bugaboo. Always has been, always will be. All right, you all, appreciate you. Thanks to Mr. Zinn, as always, for supporting us. And by the way, we just added a Subaru to the family, which is fantastic. We'll be there the final Wednesday of the month, starting here in March. So we've got Craig Zinn Acura, Craig Zinn's Toyota of Hollywood, and now Craig Zinn's Subaru of Pembroke Pines. So welcome to Subaru, and looking forward to having a nice relationship with them. Thank you all out there for supporting the hell out of us. We'll see you on Monday morning, same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.